Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much, Gabrielle. And it's great to be here today. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here. I don't know who's running the city, looking around, but I'm so glad that you've joined us today. And I want to give a special thank you to Lauren Remillard and the entire team at the Winnipeg Chamber of Commerce. Can we give them a round of applause and thank them? So grateful for this opportunity on an annual basis to come and to present to each one of you. I also know that today the audience is filled with colleagues, elected officials at every level of government, Indigenous governments as well. I know Grand Chief Jerry Daniels is here. I'm going to forget somebody if I start naming names. So I do want to ask all the elected officials of every level of government who are in the room to please stand to be acknowledged today. Thank you so much. Great to have you all here, including Mayor Jeff Fawcett of Brandon. Go Wheat Kings. I don't know how they're doing, but are we good? We're good. Okay, go Wheat Kings. Manitoba's WHL team. I'm cheering for the Wheat Kings. I've always thought it's something a little bit odd about giving a State of the City speech to a room like this, because you already know the state of the city. You are the people building companies and leading nonprofits. You're the ones that are running the capital campaigns and managing government services. You know the opportunities, and you know exactly what is standing in the way of them. In a moment, I'm going to talk about what I believe is the biggest opportunity Winnipeg has seen in a generation. But before that, as mayor, I sometimes get to hear and to share good news that you might not be aware of. Good news like how the Prairie Theatre Exchange grew their season ticket base by 50% this year and reaffirmed their commitment to downtown for the next 50 years. And exciting developments at Nawe Odina. The first residential project is now under construction with many more to come. The Manitoba Métis Federation is building a new 55-plus residence at the site of the old Roxy Lanes on Henderson, which will be the first development in the city to take advantage of our new malls and corridor zoning. The Solera Flats is a new 21-story tower next to the Winnipeg Art Gallery that was built by the University of Winnipeg Community Renewal Corporation. It is Canada's first net zero apartment building. Congratulations, U of W. Or here's a fun one. We all know that Winnipeg takes pride in being the Slurpee capital of the world. Well, I spent some time with the 7-Eleven Canada folks last week, and they're looking to expand their brand in Manitoba, including several new franchise locations right here in Winnipeg. And I'll drink to that. (7-Eleven), Uniqlo, Trumbull, Abercrombie, Costco, and others. These are major international brands that could invest anywhere, but they're choosing to expand here in Winnipeg. I wasn't expecting lime, I've got to tell you. I'll get over it. It's not the brain freeze. I didn't take too big I wasn't expecting the lime. We've got homegrown success as well. Modern Ambition is Ashmoda's new menswear concept. The store in True North Square is beautiful. The suits, and I'm wearing one today, are amazing, very comfortable. And Winnipeg is the launch pad for what's going to be a nationwide chain of stores. So, there are a lot of really great things happening locally. But the rest of the world, well, that's a different story. Venezuela, Greenland, Cuba, and Iran. Carney on the Davos stage, illegal tariffs, Trump's rage. We didn't start the fire. For those of you 40 and up like me, you get that? You know, Billy Joel. Couldn't find a Bad Bunny reference for others, but anyways. But folks, that was just in the last 2 months. For generations, Winnipeg has been a place of refuge, safe from the shocks and conflicts that have defined other places. We were a city that people came to for stability, for opportunity, for a fresh start. But our world has changed, and the uncertainties of a risky world are coming much closer to our doorstep. In the past 2 months, we've seen chaos on the streets of Minneapolis, our sister city. And of course, for several weeks last summer, northern Manitoba wildfires were the worst disaster on our continent. I'm going to paraphrase our Prime Minister, Mark Carney. In a world that feels out of control, focus on what you can control. We cannot control trade wars, geopolitical instability, or politicians south of the border. But we can control how serious we are about building Winnipeg. And we can control whether we seize the opportunities that are in front of us. And over the last 3.5 years, that's exactly what we've been doing. We've been controlling what we can. When homelessness spiked after the pandemic, I said in my first State of the City speech that we needed a coordinated plan with the province in the lead. Together, today, we are partners with the province's Your Way Home strategy that has successfully moved nearly 200 people from encampments into housing. And the city has backed that plan with our own action. We have expanded 24/7 safe spaces. We've made city land available for supportive housing units. And we've adopted a new encampment policy that has seen 17 sites decommissioned and cleaned up in the last few months. That's action. When vacancy rates fell to a dangerous low, I challenged every department in the city of Winnipeg to think of itself as a housing department. And we have used every lever we have: zoning, approvals, financing, partnerships, all toward one goal: build more housing. And it's working. In 2025, Winnipeg recorded the second highest housing starts in our history. The 4 years between 2022 to 2025 was the strongest period of housing starts ever. And the vacancy rate has improved from 1.8% to 2.3%. That's alignment. When repeat violent offenders were undermining public confidence, we didn't confine the conversation to City Hall. We reactivated a joint Winnipeg Police RCMP warrant unit, and nearly 1,000 high-risk offenders have been arrested to date. I even went to Ottawa and testified at the Justice Committee and worked with Mayor Fawcett and Mayor Knox of Portage Prairie and Kathy Valentino of Thompson, other mayors across Manitoba, to make bail reform a national issue. Ottawa listened. Criminal code changes are now moving through Parliament. And earlier this week, I joined Provincial Minister Matt Wiebe and introduced the new WPS Bail Compliance Unit, which has already made over 100 arrests for bail violations in Winnipeg since December. And last year, I said that I would hire an expert to help design a fourth emergency service, one that's focused on mental health. Because thousands of our calls for service to police, fire, and paramedics are really calls for mental health support. Now, Dr. Maria Contronio was in the room today with us, and she has been leading the work to design a smarter, more compassionate, and more cost-effective way to get people the help that they need. Downtown crime was down nearly 10% in our most recent annual stats report. The homicide rate is down more than half from its 2022 peak. Under Chief Gene Bowers, the Winnipeg Police Service has placed a new emphasis on collaboration and targeted street-level policing. And that spirit of partnership, you can hear the theme, I hope, that spirit of partnership is exactly what we had in mind when we launched the Safe Winnipeg initiative last year. And because everyone else today has had a video, I do too. Please watch the screens.
Hi, I'm Mayor Scott Gillingham. Downtown safety is built through people, presence, and partnerships. The Safe Winnipeg initiative connects the services working across our downtown, ensuring city departments and safety partners are coordinated effectively, respond appropriately, and provide a blanket of safety downtown.
There are a number of organizations who are all working together to make downtown Winnipeg a safer place.
This isn't just a one team or one organization job. This requires the whole community to work together.
We're all working together, working with law enforcement, working with the Winnipeg Police Service, Winnipeg Fire Paramedic Service.
We're no longer working in isolations as groups or organizations. We're now working as part of a network, and we're all here to serve, and we're all here to ensure that our public spaces are as safe as they can possibly be for everyone.
Creating a safe downtown is something that we all have a role in. When we look out for one another, stay aware of our surroundings, and speak up if something doesn't seem right, we can make a real difference. If you see something, say something. Together, we will support a downtown that is welcoming, vibrant, and safe for residents, workers, and visitors.
A huge thank you to all the agencies, everyone involved in the Safe Winnipeg initiative. That's collaboration. And we're going to have more announcements related to the Safe Winnipeg initiative coming soon, because safety is essential. But so is having trust in the basics. When lingering infrastructure and customer service issues were creating problems for residents, we stopped kicking the can down the road and we took action. We have repaved or rebuilt 550 lane kilometers of roads. We've more than doubled our tree pruning. We've increased library hours by 10%, and attendance is up 28%. We've reduced 311 wait times to below 3 minutes. And we did it all while maintaining the lowest municipal property taxes of any major city in Canada. And that's discipline. And here's one more number for you. 850,000. That's how many people are living in our city now. We've added more than 80,000 people to Winnipeg over the last 4 years, which is our fastest growth rate in over a century. People don't move to cities that are declining. They move to cities that are building. And a lot of this work has not been glamorous. It's the daily grind of improving programs and budgets. In football terms, it's like the work of the offensive line. They're in the trenches, fighting for inches, trying to create an opening so that something special can happen. Something like that.
And they'll run it again. Brady Oliveira, a big hole, and he's going to take off to the 40. Here goes Brady to the 30. They track him down from behind. Gary Peters.
Before you know it, Bomber season will be here. Now, Brady Oliveira is a fan favorite in this city, and for good reason. He's a hometown kid. He rescues dogs in the off-season, and he's just signed a new 3-year contract, and he's the best running back in the CFL. That's not accidental. Watch Brady work. Maybe he's not the fastest player on the field, but what makes him extraordinary is his vision. He sees the opening the moment it appears, and when the offensive line creates the hole, he hits it without hesitation. In this room, you know something about that. Every one of you got to where you are because you stepped up and stepped in when the opportunity presented itself. Cities can do that too, if they have the vision and the courage. And I want to commend my city council colleagues, because that is the approach that we have taken this term of council. Most of them are sitting in that area. I'm not going to name them all in case I miss someone, but they have been courageous and they have taken every opportunity to make the most of what is in front of them. As an example, when the Housing Accelerator Fund became available, we didn't wait. We built a new housing program from the ground up. Grants, zoning changes, process improvements, and we've leveraged $122 million into $2 billion of new housing investment in this city. When engineers told us that Portage-and-Main Underground needed $73 million in repairs, we used that moment to do what many had wanted to do for decades. We opened Portage-and-Main to pedestrians. And now we have a safe, attractive, street-level crossing that's being used by thousands of people every day while we sort out the long-term future of the underground. And when a new study showed the massive economic potential of completing the long-delayed North End sewage treatment plant, we committed $500 million for the final phase. And I'm confident the federal and provincial governments will join us in the months ahead. But that's the pattern. We see the opening, we go. Stabilizing this city, ending the habit of kicking decisions down the road, and rebuilding trust in basic services remains necessary work. But that was never the destination. A stable city is a city that can compete, and Winnipeg is competing. Bioscience is growing. Advanced manufacturing is growing. Film and TV production is growing. Finance, agriculture technology, investors and entrepreneurs are choosing Winnipeg. And they're choosing downtown too. In 2025, we approved building permits for more than 1,000 residential units downtown, which our staff believe is the highest one-year total in the city's history. Because more residents downtown means more safety, means more small businesses, and more vibrant neighborhoods in the downtown. That's why projects like Railside, Marketlands, Waywanay, Portage Place, and the St. Charles Hotel are all so exciting. And I'm happy to share another new downtown project with you today. The Marlborough Hotel has had a long history in our downtown, but it has seen better days. Right now, it's sitting empty, but that's about to change. Harry Wiley is here. He's the owner of the Marlborough, and Harry, working with Rochelle Squires and the team at Centre Venture, has a plan to bring it back to life as 300 units of mixed housing. That is welcome news, and it's huge for downtown. It's exactly the kind of investment that we need, and when it comes to council, I'll be supporting it. We've also been building a transit system designed for the city that we are becoming. The network changes that we made last year were huge, the biggest shift in transit's 140-year history. Change on that scale is always going to come with challenges, and that's why we're continuing to make improvements, more service hours, and more route enhancements to respond to rider feedback, and will continue to do so. But the new system was designed with a different future in mind. So instead of talking about resurrecting old routes that were designed for the 1970s and 80s, the conversation we should be having is about which corridors will be first converted to light rail, and about making land use decisions today that will make that possible tomorrow. All of this investment, housing, transit, is all about how we build a platform for economic growth. And that platform matters because right now, there is a once-in-a-generation opportunity opening up for Winnipeg. And like Brady Oliveira, we need to take the ball and we need to run with it. Last month, the federal government announced Canada's first ever defense industrial strategy, a $500 billion plan to modernize our military and to transform our defense industries. And Winnipeg is well positioned to play a major role because we've got the people, the assets, and the infrastructure. I've pushed for years to open up our airport to industry since I was first elected as councillor for St. James. A decade ago, the Winnipeg side of Centreport was just a label on a map. But last Friday, I was proud, I was thrilled to stand with our federal and provincial government partners and with the Winnipeg Airport Authority to announce the development of the Airport West lands. And today, because we did the unglamorous work of servicing that land, 127 acres of runway-adjacent territory are officially ready for investment. They're ready for business. And in the weeks and months ahead, there are going to be more exciting announcements in Centreport South. Thousands of jobs, billions of dollars of investment are coming. We're home to the third largest civilian aerospace cluster in Canada. And the sector is growing right now. Standard Aero is expanding. Boeing is hiring. Magellan is growing. Perimeter Aviation just announced this week that it's adding staff. And we're the place to be based if you're in the Canadian Air Force, with 17 wing, 1 Canadian Air Division, 2 Canadian Air Division, and NORAD's Canadian headquarters. We could see upwards of 800 additional Canadian Air Force members coming to 17 Wing and CFB Winnipeg over the next few years. Red River College Polytech, University of Winnipeg, University of Manitoba are training the specialized aerospace workforce that other cities are desperate to build. And many of the leaders of that growth are in this room today. And so I'm going to ask, if you're part of Winnipeg's aerospace, aviation, or defense ecosystem, industry, military, or post-secondary, could you please stand so we could recognize you today? Please stand. Thank you. I got to admit, I thought someone would say, well, I entered a draw for Air Canada. Does that make me part of it? And you would stand, but no one did. In all seriousness, though, this sector has been part of Winnipeg's story for generations. But in an uncertain world, it can become more than a strong sector. It can become a central pillar of our growth strategy. Last year, I worked with industry leaders to make Winnipeg's first coordinated pitch to play a bigger role in Canadian defense in decades. I met directly with Defense Minister McGuinty, Transport Minister McKinnon, to make the case that when Canada invests in defense capacity, Winnipeg is ready to deliver. And earlier this week, I had great conversations with Industry Minister Melanie Joly, who is leading the strategy for the federal government. And we talked about how Winnipeg can help deliver this strategy and what we need to do next. Cities like Edmonton and Ottawa are organizing right now to capture defense procurement dollars. And Winnipeg won't stand on the sidelines. We'll go after our share. But I believe in this moment we can go further by expanding the entire regional aviation, aerospace, and defense ecosystem. Key assets just beyond the city's borders, like St. Andrews Airport, Micropilot, and Stony Mountain, are all part of this effort. And port expansion in Churchill will depend on people and equipment flying from runways here in Winnipeg. And even companies that you might not associate with aerospace and defense are an important part of the ecosystem. I see Albert Altasi, who's in the room today from Peerless Garments. Albert told me this week that his company will manufacture 70,000 uniforms for the Canadian Forces in 2026. And they've been doing this for years. Manitoba's Business and Trade Minister Jamie Moses is here, Innovation Minister Mike Morose, and Municipal Affairs Minister Glenn Simard are all here today. And their government has spoken clearly about building Manitoba's industry and innovation capacity so that we can compete with anyone in the world. Well, this aerospace opportunity right in front of us fits directly into that vision. And I know that they're eager to work together to make sure that Manitoba captures as much of that opportunity as possible. Yesterday, Minister Joly put it simply. If we want to compete, we need to be organized. And so here's my new commitment as mayor. We're going to grow our aviation, aerospace, and defense sectors as a single sky economy. And over the next year, I will take at least one concrete step every month to advance this effort. Whether it's convening a sector meeting, removing approval bottlenecks, packaging shovel-ready land, or making new infrastructure investments, we are going to be taking action. And to build the momentum, we're also going to work with industry, post-secondary institutions, and our government partners to set a clear, ambitious 10-year target for growth in jobs and economic activity, and we will publicly track our progress. The growth in this sky economy will ripple outward. More high-paying jobs means more customers for retail and restaurants, more demand for housing, more transit riders, more research, innovation, and venture capital, more students for universities, more people to buy tickets for the arts, stronger conventions and tourism, and more high-value exports. In a time of global uncertainty, the smartest thing a city can do is to build its own strength at home. We have the team. We have the assets. We see the opportunity. Now we go. I close with this. This is an election year, as you heard. In the months ahead, you're going to hear two different stories about Winnipeg. One story will say, nothing's working, nothing's improved, we need to turn back the clock. The other story says, look at what we have built. Look at the opportunities in front of us. And look what happens when we stop kicking the can down the road and control our own future. A great part of civic democracy is that you're free to choose either story. But I know which one is true. Cities don't drift into greatness. They choose the hard work. They're honest about their challenges. They build on their strengths. And they take the opening the moment it appears. I have relentless hope. Not because I'm ignoring the risks in the world or the challenges facing this city, but because I know what Winnipeggers are capable of. And I believe that our city's best days are ahead of us. You in this room, you are builders. So I'm asking you to join me. Let's seize this opportunity and let's build the next Winnipeg together. Thank you.